Hey everybody, and welcome to The Real. Now we're doing some girl chat?
Yes.
Today on Girl Chat, we're going to be talking about a group of people that are rarely ever recognized or even mentioned, the deaf community. Studies show that 90% of deaf individuals are born to hearing parents and hearing families, which means that only 10% of deaf individuals are born to deaf parents and deaf families. Wow. Interesting fact, right?
Yes.
Well, that is interesting. That means it's us hearing people creating all the deaf people. The deaf community is frequently overlooked and looked down upon. But according to studies, it's us, the hearing people, to blame for that. Not the deaf people. Hearing people! How dare you outcast those who you create?
Well, you know what? I was actually in the store the other day, and a young girl came up to me telling me how big a fan she was of me in the show. So I had asked her, we had a little girl chat, and I asked her if she was a student in college and what she was studying. And do you know what she said? She is studying ASL. You know that's the abbreviation for American Sign Language. Did you guys know that? You didn't know that. You didn't know that. But guess what else she said? She told me that ASL is the second most used language in the U.S.
Really?
Really?
Wow, I thought it was Spanish.
You would think that.
You know, a diverse group of Latin people live and migrate to the U.S., which is why now jobs recommend that candidates be bilingual in both Spanish and English to fill that demand for those Spanish speakers.
Wait, so, okay. Not only 90% of the deaf are being born to hearing parents, but ASL is the second most used language too. Why don't people know about this? Better yet, why are companies and corporations accommodating the deaf community based on this high statistic?
Well, guys, do you know who Alexander Graham Bell is?
Wait. Isn't that the guy who invented the telephone or something like that?
Yes. And he's also the guy who almost erased deaf history, culture, American Sign Language.
Now, how you gonna erase deaf culture?
Exactly, how is that even possible?
Well, you know, he was a school teacher, and so he trained his hearing students to train his deaf students how to speak. And so, you know, ASL is the native language of deaf people. So if the deaf students were caught signing, they would get smacked on their hands with rulers and all types of punishments. Alexander Graham Bell propositioned his ideas to different school boards and different organizations in power, and they started jumping on the bandwagon with him and were supportive of his ideas. But the deaf community was not having it. They was like, absolutely not, because it almost could have got erased.
Honey, sound like he and Hitler had the same agenda.
Tamara, when did this happen?
In the 1800s, he believed that you can't be intelligent if you couldn't speak. He thought intelligence and speech went hand in hand. And since deaf people typically don't speak, some do, depending on their preference, but for the ones who didn't, he thought they were dumb. What's the logic in that? Just because somebody is deaf, they're dumb? But he thought it was a curse and a calamity to this world.
A calamity?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This Graham Bell dude sound like somebody I do not want to mess with.
Guys, maybe he had a crush on a deaf girl who broke his heart. Would set him off the edge. You never know. Heartbreaks will make guys do some irrational and cray-cray.
Oh, now, you know I done seen cray-cray, okay?
Well, I read many articles about him where he's quoted saying, "This is an English-speaking country, and English only shall be used."
Okay, Tam, what was that, Tam?
Well, it was in the 1800s, so I just, and in my head, I heard him say
No.
it.
No.
Well, we see that ideology didn't last. Everybody in their mama speaks Spanish and English in this country. So many people are raised bilingual today. If he was alive today, he probably would have never left his house.
You know, I also heard that later in life, he even married a deaf woman.
See, now that's what he get. You know, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly.
Ain't that true? How do you know so much about this?
Because I am a deaf culture merger.
As you can see, Alexander was extremely unsuccessful because the deaf community is huge.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for Girl Chat today, but don't touch that down. We'll be right back with more of The Real.